Let's clear something up today because I keep seeing this thing online. People soaking different things in water for 3 days, allowing it to bubble up and confidently saying it's probiotic. Does every fermented food actually means probiotic? Now, in today's video, I'll be explaining what exactly is probiotic. Is every fermented food actually probiotics? Because people are now misunderstanding this, thinking that when you soak something in water for 3 days, it's automatically probiotics. What happens during fermentation? Now, if you're coming across my channel for the first time, you are welcome. My name is Uche Chichizindu, and I'm a clinical physiologist who make educational health content here. Do well to subscribe and hit the notify button so that anytime I post a new video, you'll be notified. Now let's get into the subject matter of today, probiotic. Now we need to understand that probiotics are live microorganisms. Emphasis on live microorganisms, especially bacteria and yeast. That's when taking adequate amount provide health benefits for your body. Let me repeat it clearly. They must be alive. These microorganisms or bacteria must be alive. They must be present in enough quantity and they must be proven to provide health benefits. If those three things are not present, it is not technically a probiotics. Just because something fermented does not automatically mean that it contains live beneficial bacteria when you consume it. When we say probiotics are live microorganisms, many people just hear good bacteria and move on. But what does that actually mean? Now, I need to understand that our body, especially our gut, are home to trillions of microorganisms. You find bacteria, you find fungus, you find viruses. This whole community is called the gut microbiomes. Probiotics are specific strains of microorganisms, or would I rather say types of microorganisms that has been studied and proven to benefit human health, not random bacteria, not any bacteria, but specific strains of bacteria. For example, bacteria like lactobacillus or even bifidobacterium, or certain beneficial yeast like Saccharomyces boulardii. Now you need to understand that each strains of these microorganisms or bacteria have different jobs they do in our body. Some of them reduce antibiotic-associated diarrhea, while some help with lactose digestion for those of you that are lactose intolerant. Some of these microorganisms help to digest milk. Now, for others, some of them also help in vaginal health, help to maintain the pH of the vagina. Bacteria like lactobacillus, these bacteria help to maintain the acidic environment of the VJ. Now listen, what exactly qualify a microorganism to be classified as a probiotics? Three major things does. And number one is that it must survive. It has to survive your stomach acid, your digestive enzyme, and your bile salts. Don't forget that your stomach acid is very, very powerful. So some of these microorganisms die once they get to that stomach because of this HCl. So if some of these microorganisms dies before reaching your intestine, it won't do much. And number two is that it must be present in adequate amounts. In fact, this is measured in colony forming unit, that's CFU. So when you see 10 billion CFU, that means 10 billion microorganisms that are capable of multiplying. So if the number is too low, it may not create a measurable effect. And number three is that it must show proven health benefits in humans. In fact, this is where some of this fermented food pays the test. For something to be called probiotic scientifically, it must be tested in clinical studies. If there is no evidence of its benefit in humans, then it's just bacteria, not officially probiotic. Now listen, for those of you that soak different things in water for 3 days and allow it to ferment, automatically calling it probiotic, we need to understand what exactly is fermentation, what happens during fermentation. Fermentation is a biological process. It happens when microorganisms break down carbohydrate. Now listen, carbohydrate can be your sugar, can be your starch in an environment without oxygen or with limited oxygen. Instead of using oxygen like we do for energy, these microorganisms use sugar, they feed on sugar and convert them to lactic acid acetic acid, alcohol, and carbon dioxide. So let's really understand what exactly happens during fermentation. So when you put something like cabbage, milk, cassava, or any carbohydrate-rich food inside a container to ferment, that food contains natural sugar. Even if it doesn't taste sweet, there are still carbohydrates inside. Now those microorganisms, bacteria or yeast, are already present in that food, or maybe they are intentionally introduced into it, that they put it inside. Now for those of you that normally do yogurt, they actually add, some of them add starter culture to help to turn this milk into yogurt. Now you need to understand that these microorganisms need food to survive. Just like us humans, we also need food to survive, right? So these microorganisms, they feed on sugar, they feed on sweets. These microorganisms, when they consume this sugar, they don't digest it the way humans do, using oxygen. Instead, they break it down through a different metabolic pathway. In many common fermentation, especially in yogurt or sauerkraut, they convert this sugar into lactic acid. That acid production is the game changer. As they keep on breaking down more sugar, more acid is produced, and as more acid builds up, the environment inside that jar becomes more and more acidic. Now think of acidity like a defense system. Most harmful bacteria prefer a neutral environment, not too acidic. But once the pH drops and the food becomes acidic, many of those harmful bacteria cannot multiply. Some of them even dies off. So what is happening is that the beneficial bacteria are basically changing the whole environment in their favor. By producing acid, they help to preserve the food, prevent spoilage, and also reduce growth of dangerous microbes. So you see that sour taste you notice when you eat a fermented food? That's the acid these microorganisms they produce. That's the acid they produce when they break down sugar. And those white bubbling you see during fermentation are usually carbon dioxide. Normally, when these microorganisms break down sugar, they release gases, and that gas is those bubbling things you see, and they are usually carbon dioxide. So fermentation is not magic, it is controlled microbiome competition. The microorganisms eat sugar and they produce acid. Only the acid tolerant organisms survive. So is every fermented food actually probiotics? The answer is no. Now for fermented food that contains probiotics, number one is yogurt. Not just any yogurt, but yogurts that have life culture. Now listen up, if you buy a yogurt, do yourself a favor and look at the label. If it is written life and active culture, it simply means that the yogurt still have living and active beneficial bacteria that are still inside. Even when you will be eating it, even when you are eating it, it still contains these beneficial bacteria. If the label contains life and active culture, then yes, it is likely probiotics. Probiotics like lactobacillus or bifidobacterium. But if the yogurt is heat treated after fermentation, that's they heat it after fermentation, the bacteria may die. This may kill the bacteria. That is why anytime you want to buy a yogurt, again, check the label. If they wrote life and active culture, you know that the bacteria, the beneficial bacteria are still alive. Then for raw sauerkraut contains live bacteria. But the issue here is that some of these bottled sauerkraut in the supermarket, many of them is pasteurized. When we say something is pasteurized, we simply means that heat has killed the bacteria. And when heat has acted on these bacteria, they can't survive, right? Meaning that there is no probiotic there. Now, kefir is one of the richest natural probiotics rich food. The reason why it's one of the richest probiotic rich foods is that it contains multiple strains, multiple species of bacteria and yeast. Now, this is where many people get confused. Bread is fermented with yeast, right? So if bread is fermented with yeast, why is it that it's not considered as a probiotic? Remember, yeast is also one of the microorganisms. So why is it that bread is not considered as a probiotic? Now, you need to understand that bread are baked at high temperature. Now, when they are baked at high temperature, most of these microorganisms dies, right? They die off because they can't withstand this heat. So it is not considered as a probiotic. even if it's fermented with yeast. Then for alcohol is fermented, right? Then why is it that alcohol is not considered as a probiotic? Alcohol does not contain a live probiotic. In fact, excess alcohol can actually disrupt your gut biome, that's your gut microbiomes. Now you may be wondering, what about people that soak random things in water, maybe for 3 days, allowing it to ferment? Some of you soak pineapple peels, garlic, ginger, or even some kind of fruits. Yes, fermentation happens, but the issue here is that we don't know which bacteria grew. We don't know if it is harmful. We don't know if these bacteria are beneficial, even whether the amount is therapeutic. Fermentation without a control condition can also grow unwanted bacteria. So hope you know, not every bubbling white jar you see that is fermenting that is healthy. Some of them can actually cause food poisoning. So be careful what you eat or what you promote. So what about Nigerian fermented food, our local food like pap? Pap is fermented from corn. Garri, no, curry is also fermented. Fufu is also fermented from cassava. So what about all this food? So you need to understand that some of these are local fermented Nigerian dish or Nigerian food contains beneficial lactic acid bacteria during their early stage. But what happens is that cooking, when you heat them on fire, some of these bacteria dies off. So by the time you eat that hot pap, many live bacteria may be gone. So how do you actually get good probiotics? How can you incorporate good probiotics in your diet without the bacteria being killed? Number one, now listen up. Number one, eat a properly fermented unpasteurized food. And number two, look for live and active cultures on the labels. Now if you go to a supermarket, maybe you want to get a yogurt, check for live and active culture on the labels of your yogurt. This tells you if maybe the microorganisms, the probiotics here are still active, are still living. And next is, don't overheat your probiotics food, because when you overheat this food, you are indirectly killing these microorganisms. They won't give you the result, they won't give you that benefit, that health benefit that your body needs. And fourthly, you can actually consider including medically approved probiotic supplement when needed. And lastly, eat prebiotics. Prebiotics are those food or fibers that help to feed those good bacteria in your gut, in your body. Example of prebiotics is onions, banana, oats, beans. All these things are very healthy. They help to feed those good bacteria in your gut. Prebiotics are the food that helps to feed these bacteria, while probiotics are the bacteria itself. Now for a recap, not all fermented food are probiotics. Probiotics must be alive. It must be in adequate quantity and must be proven to have health benefits. Fermentation is a process, while probiotics are specific bacteria that are good for our body, that are good for our gut. So next time you see someone soaking something for 3 days and confidently calling it probiotic, need to ask them this question: where is the evidence that this thing is beneficial? Is it scientifically proven? Or what strain of microorganism is this? What type of microorganism is this? Is it alive? Is the microorganism alive? Is it in adequate amount? Now you need to understand that education helps to prevent misinformation. If you find this video helpful, give a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share.